Hey, good morning, gang. It's Matt with OddsJam, and this video will just be going over the early lines and markets for the Super Bowl, seeing whether it is any value, and placing some bets. So, just to preface, if you follow me on Twitter, I posted that I was in on the Bengals +4 and on the under 50.5. So that's just where my allegiances are right now. I do think the Bengals win straight up, but looking at the money line in the market, so the lines have actually been ripping more and more towards the Rams. If you look at the OddsJam Perfect Line, which is -195, Bookmaker, which has them at -205, there is some value on the Rams money line. So it does look like it's trending more and more towards the Rams. So I personally am not touching the money line because I do think the Bengals win, but there isn't really a plus EV play when you look at the OddsJam Perfect Line or when you look at Bookmaker. But if you do like the Rams, I would suggest getting on the money line as soon as you can because it does seem to be like the market is ripping more and more towards the Rams money line. Looking at the point spread, so like I said, I was in on the Bengals +4. It looks like the lines are actually changing more and more towards the Rams, and so the line actually started at Bengals +3, and now it's at 4, 4.5, depending on where you look. So while I do like the Bengals in this spot, I'm going to go ahead and sit out any spread bets because I do think that eventually the line is going to move more and more towards the Rams just based on where the money's going and how things are changing. So, I could get the Bengals now at 4.5 at -110 on a couple books, but I would rather just wait and maybe I can get them at plus money at 4.5, or maybe I can get them at 5, 5.5, something like that. So I'm going to sit out any spread bets. But where I do have a play is on the under. So like I said, when I first posted on Twitter that I was in on the under, it was at 50.5. Since then, lines have been just just ripping more and more towards the under. So right now they're at 48, 48.5. I ended up finding a bet that I really liked at this under 49.5. So this is something that I'm going to go ahead and lock in. So the OddsJam Perfect Line has it at -127. This was a $75 bet for me, as you can see on the screen here. Under 49.5 on FanDuel. Odds are -120. OddsJam Perfect Line has it at -127. And I think that this is going to end up being a plus EV play. Like I said, the line started at 50.5. Now, I'm not touching anything as bad as that. It does look like there is some value on PointsBet if you do want to take it at 50.5, but -136 is a little too rich for my blood. So I normally try to limit myself, nothing lower than -125, -130, something like that. But I do really like this under 49.5. Based on where the money's going, I do think it'll end up being plus money. My guess is that the total is going to end at, so right now it's like I said, 48, 48.5. My guess is it'll end at either at 48 or 47.5. Right now, both Bookmaker and the OddsJam Perfect Line do have it at 48.5, while some other markets have it at 48. So it just depends on where you look. This is the importance of why signing up for every sportsbook in your state is important, because most lines have the under 49.5 at 125, right? Except using the OddsJam line shopping tool, I got it on FanDuel at -120. So if I wasn't signed up everywhere, there wouldn't have been a play here. And that's all I got for you there. So that's going to be my one play, the under 49.5. One thing I do preface is that there's no OddsJam Perfect Lines up for the player props. So while there are some plays that I like, I'm going to go ahead and just sit out any player prop as of right now and just wait until stuff starts getting posted on the OddsJam Perfect Line. So, all right, so I had a play on the under. First half money line, again, looks like there is some value to the Rams, -160. I do think that's not a bad play. It looks like the Bengals have kind of been slow starters, specifically against the Chiefs. Obviously, they were down 18 at one point, ended up being down 11 at halftime. I'm not touching this, so it really isn't any value on the Bengals, and only 5 cents on the Rams, and that's not even a positive EV play if you take out the VIG. So not touching that there. First half point spread, I did really like a play. So this one does have positive EV when you remove the VIG. So right now it looks like the first half is settling on Bengals +2.5 or +3. I really like this at +3.5 at -125 on BetMGM. The OddsJam Perfect Line has this at -137. So that's 12 cents. That's 18 cents of market width. That's 12-cent difference between the OddsJam Perfect Line and what you're getting it at BetMGM. And when you remove the VIG, it's a plus EV play as well. So I didn't find any value on the Bengals total spread, but I do really like this first half spread plus 3.5. So that's going to be a $50 play for me. Bengals plus 3.5, minus 125 on BetMGM. So that's my second play. First one was the under 49.5. Second one is this Bengals first half spread plus 3.5. Now let's look if there's any value on the first half total. Obviously, I'm in on the under this game, so the logic wouldn't really make sense for me to take an over, but I do want to see if there's any value. So obviously, look at the OddsJam Perfect Line. Looks like there's slight value on the under 22.5. There is a pretty good amount of value on the under 24.5, but the odds are minus 130. At minus 125, there is no value. At minus 130, looks like the OddsJam Perfect Line has it at minus 131. We're getting it at minus 130 on a couple books, Unibet, Bet Rivers, and Barstool. But I'm going to go ahead and sit this out because I already have a play on the under at minus 120. So I don't want to take another play with even worse odds on the first half under. So this is going to end up being a no touch for me. So right now, just two plays, under 49.5 and Bengals first half spread plus 3.5 on BetMGM. And like I said, I did want to sit out any player props, but what I did want to look at was the team total. So I was able to look at this on Pinnacle to find the OddsJam Perfect Line. It's just not posted here yet. They have the line at Bengals over 22.5. They have that market at minus 112. But when you take out the VIG, they have it closer to like minus 102. So no value on the Bengals over 22.5. I did think about taking them at the over 23 plus 100 on WinBet because then it would just push if it went over. But again, I'm kind of limiting my upside if I take the under while taking the Bengals team total over. I could hedge that by taking the Rams under. I do really like the Rams under 26.5 at minus 105 on, looks like that's BetMGM. So that's actually going to be a $50 play for me. So instead of taking the Bengals over, while taking the game under, that, like I said, it just limits your upside. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams team total under 26.5. I was able to look this up on Pinnacle as well, and they had this line at 27.5, but they had it heavily juiced towards the under. So instead of getting it at minus 120 and having a third bet that is odds minus 120, I will just go ahead buy it down a little to minus 105. I do think it's a good bet. You know, the Bengals defense, they've come on strong. They've actually played well all three playoff games. So, I mean, they held the Chiefs to, 3 second half points, and that was on the last drive of the game. They got an interception in overtime. They really did a good job against Tennessee and a good job against the Raiders. So, kind of an underrated defense. While Burrow gets all the credit, as he should. I love me some Joe Burrow. Like I said, underrated defense. So this team total under 26.5, I do really like. And that's going to be everything for me on these early lines. I'm going to keep monitoring stuff. Actually, no, that's not going to be it. I want to check the positive EV page. Let's see if there's anything here. It wasn't last time I checked, so I'll just go ahead. So it looks like there actually is some value. Bengals first half spread plus 4.5. This is exactly 25 cents a market with, but I already took them at plus 3.5, so I don't need to double down, especially odds as bad as minus 145. Looks like the next play, again, Bengals first half spread, even worse odds. First half spread plus 3, which I did take something similar. I took the 3.5. So again, looks like all the plays are on the Bengals first half spread, which I already touched. So that's going to be everything for me for just the early lines. Like I said, make sure you follow me on Twitter at my handle below because I'm just going to keep checking the market, seeing where the money goes, seeing if there's any value, monitoring the positive EV page, and posting anything that comes up. And then obviously later in the week, I'll have a full game preview where I'll go over everything. Just waiting for the player props to post for that so I can find the best plays. But as of right now, just two plays that I had on this video. I had the under 49.5 at minus 120. And I had the Bengals first half spread plus 3.5 at minus 125. And that's going to be it. So, thanks for watching. Like I said, make sure to follow me on Twitter at my handle below where I post a lot of plays. You can email me, Matthew@oddsjam.com. And other than that, I would just appreciate any comments on the video, liking the video, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff just to help the channel grow. And that's all I got for you. So happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.